Alright, we're back. So we're going to go ahead and put the oil pump on it now. So we've got everything sitting right here in front of us here to do. We already got the oil pump cleaned up earlier. Don't need the hammer. So we had a problem with our plunger valve earlier. This is our pressure relief valve. It was binding. It's not binding no more. So that's a good thing. When they're binding, they don't work. Okay, this wasn't leaking oil past it, so I'm not going to do anything with the check valve. I'm just going to put it all back together like it was. Should be fine. So, all these surfaces are nice and clean. Just got to assemble it up and be good. This has a lot of grooves in the oil return side. Customer didn't really care about it, so we'll leave them. The pressure side is nice and clean though, so it'll work good. So that's what I care about. Okay, so these here have the 1/4" bolts that hold it all together. So get all this stuff all lined up here so we don't have to go digging for it. Makes it easier to do it now than later. And for the top two nuts, they have 2 lock washers. No, they don't. They have bolts. But they have lock washers on the bolts. Usually you have studs on these motors, but late motors, they like bolts instead of studs. Studs are always better though. Okay, so it's just this all slides together from this side, and then you put the garage gear over here on this side. Okay, the customer doesn't want to use any sealant on anything. He wants dry gaskets. So I got him some nice new dry gaskets to use. And we got a brand new snap ring to go and hold the pump on. Damn. So it's a pair of brand new gaskets. Make sure they all line up like they're supposed to. Now this is a 70s pump. The 80s pump does not have this hole right here, I think. I think it only has this one. It's only got 2. Now you can use the early gasket on the late pump, but you're not supposed to use the other way around. And on this case, it doesn't matter because see that hole's not even being used. So you can use either gasket on this motor. It won't make any difference at all. Okay, this one here is the early gasket, and it definitely only works on the early pump. The late pump has a pressure relief valve right here, and the gasket, instead of being here, sticks up higher like this. But just in this one little spot. So this is the gasket used on this one. So once again, we're not going to put any, we're just going to put oil on both sides of this and put it together and just oil on it. So that's how you get messy. You have to get your fingers oily. Customer likes to take his motor apart all the time and claim, so this is racer tricks. You lubricate the gasket and it pulls off without tearing. In the real world, it still does tear slightly. All this really does is make my fingers gooey. It's a waste of assembly oil is what it is. Thinner oil would probably be better, but this is what I'm using. It's what I got laying around here for now. Probably could go find some more oil and do it with, I guess, but yeah, thick oil doesn't hurt it. It's just going to squeeze you out when you torque the pump down. Okay, so that one's all lubed up. So it basically just goes right there. I like putting the pump on the motor without being on the stand because you got full access to it, and I can hold the pump at an angle, which makes it a little bit easier to work on it. Slightly. There's the other gasket at. careful not to tear the gasket while you're doing this, like that. I'm trying to there for a second. That was a gasket test to see if it's good quality. If the gasket was old and hard, it would have tore right there. So that was a test. So you do it like that, see it didn't tear. Another test. If the gasket's old and hard, it won't seal. So. Alright, that one's all lubed up. So it just goes on top of the pump here. You can go on in one piece at a time. Slide up the holes, it should slide right on. Now my fingers are nice and oily. Okay, we'll get those cleaned off. They can get oily again, but only two of them, not all four of them. Nice and gooey. Okay, so now we're going to put the oil pump together. So first thing to do is make sure that is tight. It is. If it's loose, replace it. Make sure that's 180 from where the key is, so it can't ever fall out. So I rotate it down so it's on the bottom. And it should be nice and clean. I don't see any burrs on it. Appears to fit in the case pretty good also, which is a big plus. So it should be good to go. Okay, this one takes 3 fat keys. The keys are the same on all the surfaces. So all 3 of these keys are the same size. So it's that large key like that. Okay, what I do is I put oil in here. Helps hold the key in. It also helps hold the gear on. Okay, you got skinny gears and fat gears. Pressure side, return side. And you got them with and without keys in them. These have no keys, so those are the idler ones. These ones too have the keys in them, so these are the drives. Okay, the inside of the pump is thick, the outside is thin. So the outside is the pressure side. So you put the thin gear on the outside, so that's the one that goes in here. Make sure it goes in the groove right there. Boom, it's all the way in, see? Take the oil and wipe it off. Lubricate the outside of it there. Okay, now we got this one here. We get to lube it up. So I put a little bit of lube on this right here, including the keyway. A bunch of it on the outside. Now when I shove this into the oil pump, it'll lubricate the seal, which is right there. As you get in there, you just kind of rotate a little bit, and it lubricates everything up as it goes in. And the oil on the back side of the gear lubricates the back side and inside the body, so now it's not dry on the back side to wear it out. Rotate this around until the key's up here we can get to it. You hold your finger over here so this can't fall out. And you put another key inside of here. Hard to do with my fat fingers. A pair of pliers makes this a lot easier. If you're really good though, you don't need them. Or you have smaller fingers than mine. So I dropped it in the pan down there. Okay, see how it's laying in there right now? Laying there like that. And you got this one here goes in. A little bit of oil in here so it's lubed on this side. See how the gear will get lubed when you shove it in there. Key is too fat in the front. Just waiting for it to pop up on the back side. It never did. Okay, it's on a key right there. Oop, went all the way in. If it didn't go all the way in, you put a little screwdriver on the back side or a little pick to hold it in. Then it goes in. Okay, the gear is now lubricated on this side too. See the oil going around? Lubricates it. So it's in there. Okay, you want to keep this rotated about here so you can put the snap ring in here and the key on here when you put it through the whole case. So you always got to look at what you're doing. Okay, now we're going to put some oil in over here. This oil does two things. It primes the pump and also lubricates the shaft and the gear assembly as it goes in. There it goes. Boom. Flip around the other side. Do the same thing. So this will be the only oil these gears see until it primes itself. So sometimes it's not. It wants more. I think it's tight in there for some reason. Wiggle around a little bit and get the line up. That should just fall right in there. It's not. It's obviously on there, but something binding. Looks like the gear's going at an angle if you look at it. There it goes. And the key just popped out because I was screwing on with the gear. I'll get to start over. Because this gear was screwing with me over here. Well, I didn't want to go in there. Alright, I could do everything over. But now it's well lubed. Come on. Get all these gears out. It's really hard to put a gear in there when it's all together. See, now the oil's pre-lubed, so it's going everywhere now. It's always more fun the second time. I haven't had a gear screw me like that in quite a while. Oh well. It's not going to work. Damn it. My fingers are so full of oil. Key ain't going where it's supposed to. Alright, we can spend an hour doing that or go get some tools. Duck bills. So you hold it with that, stick it in there where it belongs, tap it down, stick it like it belongs, and then put the thing together. It's hard doing with your fingers, so keeps popping up again. Take the screwdriver and push it back down. Boop, it's in there. So that time I had to use official tools. First time I didn't have to. And go over to this side and see if this gear will screw me some more. It's trying to. Yeah, that time it went in there though. Okay. Now we lubricate the shaft. My pinch off a little bit. Yeah, damn rag goes on the floor all the time. Okay, so now we're going to lubricate this all up real good. And stick it in the case. Hold the case like that. Slide it right in there. Now for the fun part. Okay, so you have to pull the pump back out to get the gear in there, which is this one. You gotta shove the key in through the outside, rotate it 180 degrees, and then put the clip on it with the eyelets opposite of where the groove is at. Otherwise the key can come out between the eyelets, which has happened even to me. And when the clip's on there, it's got to be tight. If it's not tight, it can rotate and the key can come out. I'll put this a little bit over here further. You might be able to see it or not. I'm not sure. Blow it up a little bit. Maybe that'll help. Maybe not. Okay. So I want to pick the side that has the least amount of chamfer on it. Looks like they're pretty equal. I'm going to rotate it down so I can get access to it. I'm going to shove the key in there, so put it right there. Put this in here next. Line up the key with the line up the shaft and the gear key together. And you go ahead with the duck bells, grab the key, and shove it in there sideways and push it in there all the way. If the shaft is all screwed up on the end, you're going to have to fix that problem. So there's the key. You just hold it on the side like this, so you can shove it in there. Of course, I like working in the dark, so can't see a damn thing. It's pretty much all done by feel anyway. So the key is in there right now, just laying in there. Reaching out with your finger. Try to shove it in there. Doesn't want to go in. No, it's not in the gear, that's why. That time it went right in, see? And now you want to rotate this 180 over. So you can put the snap ring in there. Now you got to make sure you hold the shaft over here all the way in, so that when you put the clip on it and shove the shaft over, then you can't put it on. The groove will be inside the gear, and if you push it too hard, the key will pop out this other side, and you take it all back apart again. That's always fun. A lot of times I'll overbend these. I'll go and work on these a little bit even before I put them in. And I need some 90-degree pliers. That was over here. 90-degree pliers here to hold them. So if you take this and squeeze it together a little bit, when you open them up, they'll squeeze back tight. If you do it right now, it might be tight, it might not be tight. You don't know. There's also a sharp edge and a dull edge. This is the dull, this is sharp. So when they stamped it, they had a clean cut. So see the width of the groove in between here right now? Right in between there. We want to get that closer together. A pair of channel locks does wonders for this. You have to bend one corner down to get to come in. And just squeeze on a little bit like this. See? You don't want to squeeze it too far, but you want to squeeze it enough that it does something. So see how now it's a little bit closer together now? It's overlapped a little bit. So we'll try this, see if it works. Okay, this was the sharp side, so it goes out. So Pliers going from this side. You got to stretch the snap ring out to get to the plier now because you bent the damn snap ring. Okay, now it's on the plier. So you want to stretch this the least amount as you can. If you overstretch it, it'll be loose. Okay. These you don't go all the way on when you first put them on. See, I got it on the snap ring in the front, but the back is exposed right now. So you can reach in there with your finger and pull it in, or hit it with a screwdriver and pop it on. If you stretch it enough to put it all the way on, it, like I said, it gets loose when you come back at it. Okay, make sure you hold the shaft on the back side here, otherwise it'll pull out on you. Okay, you can see in there. It's always a dark hole where I'm working. I didn't think it was going down. It isn't. There it goes. Okay. Popped on, but it's loose. No good. So the clip is right there. So I can move my finger real easy. It's not any tension on it. It'll spin. No good. So you get to pull it back off, rebend it, put it back on. Try it again. Came off pretty easy. Let's you can notice how wide the gap is right now. It's a little bit wider than it was when it was new. So what I'm going to squeeze it this way, and I'm going to squeeze it from the top. The 3 angles. Now if you bend it too much, it'll break off right here. So you got to be careful. Let me do my pliers. There we go. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is bend it this way. So to get it to work, you got to bend the snap ring so it overlaps, goes away. So you can squeeze down. So you get a good overlap on it. Give it some more. It's got a pretty good overlap on it. Might even have to go more than that. It's a start. Now you take this and you bend it down. See how now it's a little bit lower than the other side. Flip it around, bend it down a little bit also. Now they're equal. So now we bend it down in 3 different ways, so it should stay tight this time, hopefully. Okay, that's the sharp side on the outside. Yep. Okay, now you got to open it up to get it on the pliers on here, which is going to be real fun. It's semi-hard to do before. It's going to be even harder this time. Okay, it's on there. So I'm going to try to not stretch it very much and put it on there again. Same deal, I got just enough to pop on there, but not all the way. Boom, it popped on. You heard it go pop. Now it has tension on it. It doesn't want to slide. I can pull it, but I can't. It won't slide. I'm forcing it to move. Okay, so that's nice and tight. That's what you want it to be. And we're 180 from where the key is also. key is way over here. See, there's a keyway. Yeah, we're not quite 180. I can fix that problem now. Just rotate it up a little bit further. There we go. Should be good to go now. Okay, now this gasket's moving around because it's not on studs. So you can put the bolts in this thing. Okay, these little short ones go on top. Just going to wiggle them around a little bit, and the gasket should self-center over the bolts. If you have to force the bolts to put them in, then you're tearing the gasket all up. It's going to wiggle around a little bit. Should be able to catch them on there. Alright, we got them in there. Okay, we can put the lower ones in. Go all the way to the very bottom. They went right in there, so that's a good sign. I'll put the two mid ones in. Once again, there's no binding. Okay. Gasket appears to be in there good. Okay, so now I'll center things up a little bit in the hole here, and then I'll tighten these two bolts. You have to do these now because the cover here, these oil lines overcover the bolts, so you can't torque these once it's in. You can get on there with an end wrench, maybe. That's about all you can do. Right now I can torque them with a socket. You go until you touch and back them off just a little. Find the middle port of where you're at. Little torque on that one, little torque on this one. You go a little bit more. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Okay, these should all fall out nice and easy, which they appear to be. And you take your cover, lay it over here. Hard to get my finger in there. Run it through, catch the gas before it falls down. There we go. Same deal, get the gasket in there where it belongs. Put everything together. Go down until they touch and back off. Okay, you can line up the gasket and the cover. So everything looks like it's in one spot where it belongs. Center it up. Got one torque on the one bolt there. A bit of a lip right there. Doesn't want to drop down anymore. So that lip wants to be there, it looks like. Let's loosen it up and try that again. Okay, that is all the way down. There's just a big lip there. It comes way up, drop it all the way down. Double check. Looks good. I'm going to torque the piss out of it. Torque. Torque. And the torque. And the torque. Tight. 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 Okay, everything's torqued now on that. So you want to make sure that the gasket is flush with the top here, so that whole cavity is filled. When the gasket gets way off center, that cavity can open up and leak. So we'll get a good squeeze on the gasket. And I also center the cover up so it's flat across the top here. We're also flat this way. The bottom here is sticking out. That's just how it's going to be. It goes up a lot higher, but it won't go any lower. And then on the bottom, it was even all the way around. I had my finger on the back side holding in here so it's flush side to side. So everything's nice and even. Right now it's gushing out the oil on the gasket that we put in there. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe that down a little bit. And we're good to go. Alright, so that's how the oil pump goes in. Go ahead and put the pressure relief valve in there next. Actually, what we should do is check to make sure the pump rotates. Easiest way to do that is put the gear on the shaft over here. Where's the damn keys at? There's one. Okay, so we got a key right here. Okay, you put the gear in here. One side's beveled, one side's flat. The bevel goes on the inside. So as this goes in, the two teeth, the gears are going to hit each other and it won't go on. You have to rotate the crank and it'll just screw itself right on. But you also have to engage the key as you're doing that. So first thing is get the key started and just rotate it direction of movement and it'll just screw right on. Okay, then you hit and then we see if the pump will turn. Got a lot of drag on it. There goes it. Bring it up a little bit. Okay, whatever was in there freed itself up. It went like 2 turns, got tight. 2 more turns, got tight. You know, go through a tight spot. So now it's rotating good that way. It's rotating good this one. See how the crank is going nice and smooth. I'm not pushing very hard. Now if it kept binding up and then free itself up, I'd have to figure out what the problem was. Looks like it freed itself up, so we're good. You can definitely feel the pump drag in there. It's, you know, you can feel it. Okay, before you get too far into this, go ahead and put some lubricant on the teeth down here because you don't want to have those running dry while the motor's running. It'll burn them up pretty quickly because there's a lot of load on the oil pump. Lubricate the gears all the way around. There we go. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now we go over here. We got to load the pump. Now it rotates. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and load these parts up here. We're going to put the ball check valve in here, plunger valve in there, and the screen over here. So before I do anything, I put oil in the hole down in here. Put a couple of drops in there. Put a little bit over here, make sure I get some on the side. Like that. That way it lubricates the plunger as it goes in. So that goes right in there like that. Should just drop right in. Here's our ball. It should have oil on it when it goes in. See, I got oil on it. Perfect. Plunge is slowly dropping, but not very fast. Okay, here's the spring for that one. The heavy spring is the plunger spring. I don't recall this spring being so stiff. I think he's been playing with the spring tensions here. There it goes. Okay, this is the rubber piece of crap he's got on here. Why has he got a piece of rubber on this thing? I'm not putting no piece of crap rubber for a seal on an oil pump. That's stupid. And what happened to the other? Here's this one. The spring should go on the inside of it and drop in. So that we'll put a plunger, we'll tighten that up good when we get next here. There's the O-ring going in, gets tight. Okay, so I'm not going to use that rubber, that's stupid. Rubber gets hard, squirmy, falls out, splits, gets loose, all that good stuff we don't want to happen. So we got some brand new ones in gaskets here I didn't pull out because he had one on it. Didn't know he had a rubber on it though. So we find the new ones we want. Plastic crap. Just went right by the one that had them in there. Alright. Somewhere was in there because I had them. Whole bag full of them. There's the seals. There they are. The copper one is stock, and the brass. The aftermarket, they went to a gasket to make it seal better. So we're going to use the gasket, not the brass one there. Nice thick one. That way we have less oil pressure. Maybe something else thinner. Oh, I did have some format ones. Ah, I did have some good ones. Okay. Oh, that's what this is. Okay, good deal. I was looking for some format ones, I didn't see them. Okay, this one's just a thick piece of paper. This one here is, there's a steel shim in the middle. See the bright shiny? And there's foam rubber style gasket material on both sides. It's called format material. That's the fancy dancy stuff they use these days. That's 1000% better than a piece of crappy rubber. This will never come out. The steel will keep it all in there. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there. So that's an upgrade. That'll work just fine. Okay, hammer. Tighten it up. There it goes. Give it a couple whacks. Good. It's tight. He's not going to like it when he goes over to unscrew those. He's going to have fun getting those out. Okay, here is our tappet screen. So let's get this all blown out real good. Here's our spring. Now it goes in like this, here with a spring tension on it. It goes against a hole in the bottom and it seals against the hole in the bottom. And there's a hole inside that comes in through here, which filter works. If you put it on upside down like this, it doesn't do a damn thing. The oil goes right here, straight down in the hole and out, and bypasses the filter. So it goes in like this. I've seen it put in upside down a lot of times. So whenever you see the spring titty sticking up, you know it's in there correctly. If you see the other side, it's wrong. Okay, he has an oil gauge that goes in here, so that's why it just stays open for now. It will be enclosed later. Okay, that's it for now. Let me get it cleaned up. We'll be back.